And diversity really means, in fact, this country is beginning to change dramatically in terms of our ethnic background, cultural, religious background. I think diversity means all those things, you know, from the male, female to religious differences, ethnic differences, the difference in people of color. I think it just takes in all of that rather than talking about affirmative action of 30, 40 years ago when people were talking about black and white issues. I think we're talking about, you know, diversity means inclusiveness of people of all different backgrounds. Okay.
To me, it goes beyond, I think, just the general sense of what everybody refers to diversity. I think it means inclusion. I think it means acceptance, and it means respect.
First of all, it's the right thing to do to create opportunity for all. Second, you're tapping a growing pool of talent in our community, so you'd be foolish not to. But equally important, we're building bridges to the diverse communities that we serve, and we're allowing us to be more effective in communicating and serving the people that we're responsible for.
Having a litigant come to court and not see a single person in the courthouse that looks like them, other than other defendants maybe, even if the system is fair, the perception may not seem fair because you're looking at a system that's judging you and nobody looks like you. And so having a profession and a bench and a bar that look diverse like the community, I think is really important.
Well, I think they generally benefit from a diverse bar by bringing new ideas to the community at large. A lot of times we are very stuck in what we know and the behaviors we've seen, and unless we have a diverse community that has been exposed to different experiences, it's hard to think outside the box. It's hard to get a different perspective of what maybe a client needs, or a different way of handling a project that you can learn from the experiences of the diverse community.
If you want to be successful in the business world, whether it be selling product or on the service side, if you don't understand the important diversity, I don't think you'll be successful. And those who are being served, I don't think they'll be able to be served in an equal way.
We didn't have, for instance, the court-appointed interpreter system that we do now. So if somebody would come in on a Friday, for instance, they were being arraigned on a serious felony, they didn't speak Spanish, the court hadn't thought to have an interpreter present, they were kept in custody and their case was delayed until Monday. Similarly situated person who was English-speaking, who was able to make the appropriate record in court with the judge, would have not only their case explained to them, but their issue of freedom also addressed right then, right there, not next week.
I started in '73. I think there were only 4 African-American male attorneys. There were 4, and Judge Diaz was basically on the court, and Judge Brown was on the court, and then 4 practicing attorneys. There's been a tremendous increase in the number of African-American members of the bar, as well as Asian members of the bar and Hispanic members of the bar. I would guesstimate that it's probably 300% to 400% greater than when I started.
When I first started practicing law 20 years ago, I was typically the only female in the client's boardroom. So when we were talking strategy for cases, it was me and mostly middle-aged white men.
I had a friend who was 8 months pregnant. She had a week-long trial, had a high-risk pregnancy, told the judge, my doctor wants me to check in every other day at 4:30 to make sure my blood pressure's okay. And he said, no, I think we've come a long way. Not far enough.
And the law school I went to, the entries were all in the back, so that the only place I could sit in the classroom was the very back of the classroom. And in fact, the other thing I remember from law school was going to a school that didn't have an accessible female bathroom in the entire school.
But it feels like there's more diversity, not just in again, color of skin or gender, but in approaches to life, in ways of handling differences and problems.
I believe that part of the difficulty stems from recruitment, retention, and advancement of lawyers within the ranks of traditional legal settings. I believe that most legal employers have made tremendous efforts to recruit lawyers of diverse backgrounds, but that the climate in many workplaces doesn't foster a culture of inclusion, and that ultimately lawyers leave those places.
Within the last 10 years, we've had some struggles, we've had some exciting things happen. I've been totally amazed at Oregon Women Lawyers and how strong that organization is. And there's no doubt that we haven't gotten as far as a lot of us would have liked to have gotten. There's not as many senior women lawyers. Senior women lawyers aren't making as much money as male lawyers. And those issues are issues that have to continually be worked on.
And the Oregon State Bar, with its efforts to encourage women and lawyers of color already before they get to law school and then through law school and carry them forward throughout their practice. I think those efforts have been successful, although again, we still have a lot of work to do, but I think we're definitely on the right track.
I really believe that the bar needs to be more active, and we as attorneys, as individuals, we need to be more active, participate in non-for-profits, do more voluntary work, make people trust us, make Oregonians trust the bar, make Hispanic trust the bar, Asians, Russians, every single group that we have here that contributes to our society, contributes to our economy. We need to go out there and let them know that we're here for them.
And I'm hopeful that the climate that we've created by more than 30 years of the affirmative action program, and by continuing to emphasize these issues and the transitions that have occurred at the State Bar, that people will acknowledge the importance of inclusiveness and the importance of having us all understand that the rule of law and diversity are not enemies, but they are really compatriots working in a way that will allow this country to be more successful.
I think that the shape of diversity changes over time, and what diversity means is often always ever changing. And I think that for us to be able to provide services, we as legal providers, I think we have a responsibility to make sure that we're on the sort of cutting edge of figuring out these issues and seeing what issues are coming in the door, to then make sure that our colleagues are aware of those changes so that we can provide better legal services in Oregon.
Equality and inclusion benefit everybody. If we, as a member of the bar, can broaden our appreciation and understanding of different cultures, then what happens is that the doors of our law offices are open that much wider, our clientele is going to be that much bigger, and our success is going to be not only greater, but more satisfying. Because we'll be able to be lawyers without an asterisk, because we'll be able to represent anybody, anytime, any place. And I think that's commendable. That's what we should be doing as lawyers.
Anywhere new, with anyone new, but hey, wait up for me. I've missed every turn that has come. I guess again.